伴我開玩笑，悶你相約見，年月裏頭天天笑未停。Hi YouTube, this is the Learn Cantonese Fast channel again. As you can see, my screen is actually getting a little bit smaller because I just bought a new Acer Chromebook. But anyway, it's a cheap one. So in that case, let me start today's discussion. So today I'm going to talk about Cantonese intonation modifiers again. So the first one is ge ge. It's a second tone ge 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 ge. Okay, ge. Okay. So normally we use it to show some disappointment when we realize something, or normally we'll show some kind of a slight surprise when we are trying to create a question or something. So let me give you an example. So the first example is it really not? Sorry, it is really not fun to play. So how do you say it in Cantonese? It's not fun. Right? Play is 玩. Right? 玩 is play. 玩 with second tone. 玩. Not fun. 唔好玩. Right? Not fun to play. Right? 好 means good. 唔好 means not good. So not good to play means not really fun to play. Right? So it is not really fun to play. So we can omit it is. Right? So 唔好玩嘅. Ge is the second tone. Right? So in some sense, after playing with the game, you somehow realize that the game is really not that fun to play. So you say 唔好玩嘅. Okay. As a second example, we have a question. So it's kind of like a question, but in fact it is really pointing out your surprise or something. Right? So why is it like this? Right? So why in Cantonese is 點解. Guy is explain. 點 means how to explain. Right? Why 點解 how to explain. 點解咁 is like this. Okay? 點解咁嘅. Okay, so you're surprised to find out something like this. So you say to yourself, or you say to other people that why is it like this? Okay, so it's a way to show something is a way to show that something is to your surprise. And as a third example, we have why is it that I cannot calculate this right, even after so many attempts? So how do you say such a complicated sentence in Cantonese? Oh, well, in Cantonese it's pretty simple because, first of all, calculate is 計, right? 計 is calculate. Right? So how do you express even after so many attempts? Right? So normally you say just one word, 極. Right? 極 means extreme. Right? So 計極 means even if you try to calculate it to the extreme. So in other words, you have tried so many times. So you try your best. Right? So try it to the extreme. We say 計極. Right? Calculate to the extreme. Right? So why is 點解, how to explain. So how can I explain why it is so difficult to calculate, so that I try so many times to the extreme and still I cannot get it right. Right? Is right. Okay. So 點解 why 計 calculate to the extreme 極. Right? 點解計極都唔啱 is right, 唔啱 is not right. 都唔啱, even though I have tried my best to calculate it to the extreme, why can't I make it correct? So even though I've tried so many times, I still got it wrong. Is wrong. Right? 嘅 is to your surprise. I mean, I've tried so many times. Right? So the entire sentence reads 點解計極都唔啱嘅. Right? 點解 why 計 calculate 極 extreme 都 even 唔啱 not right 嘅 to your surprise. And then finally we have the last example on 嘅. Okay, so say for example, if we want to say this is right, right? So someone just point out to you that something should be done in some way. Right? So you're pointing out that, well, this is right, but it's kind of to my surprise. Right? So 咁都啱嘅. Okay, 咁都啱嘅. 咁 is this. 都 even this. Right? Even this. Right. 嘅，咁都啱嘅，okay? So you're agreeing with the person, but it's kind of reluctant, but then you have to accept the fact. Right? So you say 咁都啱嘅. And then another tone for the same word, 嘅嘅. Right? 嘅 is the third tone. So you use 嘅 to indicate your confidence, or you use 嘅as an explanation, or to indicate the inherent quality of some matter or something. Right? So for example, I must not do any harm by following him. Right? So you're trying to convince another person that by following the guy, you cannot be wrong. I mean, it's much better. In other words, it's much better for us to follow the guy, because it can do us no wrong. Right? So how do you say it in Cantonese? Right? Follow him. Following. 跟住佢. Following. 跟住. 跟 is follow, and if you want to have a continual action of the 跟, or you say 跟住. Right? 跟住佢. Right? 佢 is him. Right? 跟住佢. Following him. 係 is. 一定 means must. Right? So 一定 is always. Right? It's always. Right? Must not means it's always. 冇衰 冇衰 is can do no harm. Right? 衰 is bad. 冇衰 having nothing bad. Right? So 跟住佢 following him. Must be 係一定. 冇衰 must not do any harm. There's no harm. No 冇衰。嘅跟住一定冇衰嘅. So you're showing your confidence that if the other person follows this guy, that person will not have any bad consequences. So 跟住佢係一定冇衰嘅. Right? Sometimes you can even omit the word 係. Okay? You just say 跟住佢一定冇衰嘅. Okay? So you can omit the word being 係. Right? So 跟住佢一定冇衰嘅. 跟住佢一定冇衰嘅. And the other word is 瓜, right? 瓜, okay? So GW is something like guacamole. Right? 瓜. Alright, so we use this word to question, right? That a question on whether something should or should not be done. Right? So for example, you may want to say something like, wow, that's not good. Right? So please don't do it. I mean, what you're doing is not good, so please don't do it. So how do you say it in Cantonese? 哇唔好啩，唔好 means not good. 啩 means, well, it's like a question, but actually you're pointing out some fact, right? So that the other person should not do it this way. Right? So we say 哇唔好啩. Right? So for example, if someone is trying to do something that may hurt other people, you say something like 哇唔好啩, or something want you to do something that will hurt other people. You also can say 哇唔好啩. So you don't want to do it. Right? So you can show that something should not be done. Another example, give me $5 more and you should be able to do it. Right? So in other words, you are trying to convince the other person that the other person should give you $5 more. It's no big deal. I mean, you should be able to do it. Right? So how do you say it in Cantonese? Right? Give me $5 more. Right? So how do you say it? Give is 俾 more 多 俾多 $5 5 is 5, 蚊 is dollar. Okay? 俾多5蚊. This kind of grammar is kind of different from Mandarin, because in Mandarin you put more before the verb. Okay? In Mandarin, people would say 多幾 is 俾. Okay? So, but then in Cantonese the grammar is different. So you say 俾多 俾多5蚊 me 我 俾多5蚊我 give more $5 me 都得啩. Should be okay. Duck is okay. Right? So 俾多5蚊我都得啩. Gua is some kind of like a question, but it's actually asking the other person to agree with you. So it means no big deal. I mean, you should be able to do it. And then the other intonation modifier, 渣. Right? So 渣 means barely, only, merely, not much, deficient. Okay, so 渣 means something that is not sufficient or deficient, or it is barely true, or merely, or only, and so on and so forth. So, for example, my wallet only has $50 in it. So you say to the other person, well, I only have $50. It's not much, you know. So how do you say in Cantonese? My wallet. you should say 我嘅銀包, but then in Cantonese you can omit 嘅. Most of the time you can omit 嘅. So you say 我銀包. 我銀包 is similar to 我嘅銀包, right? But 我銀包 is much simpler. 我銀包 is wallet. 銀包 is wallet. 我銀包得. Only have. Only has. Right? Only has. 50 is 50. 5 is 5. 10 is 10. So 5, 10 is 50. Right? 50 蚊, dollar. 渣, well, only have $50. Right? Only, merely. Right? 渣 means an indication. 渣 is an indication of something that you do not have enough, or you only have that much. Right? 渣, it's the same word except for a different tone. Okay? Instead of tone 3, we have tone 6. So for example, 渣, well, actually 渣 means almost the same as 渣, except that 渣 means even more deficient. Right? So you really do not have a sufficient amount, and that's why we use 渣. Right? So for example, you only have 3 people. You only have 3 people here. Right? Are you kidding me? So you should have a lot more people working for you. Right? But now you only have 3 people. I mean, that's really not enough. So how do you say it in Cantonese? You say something like 你 呢度 here. Right? 你呢度. Right? So do not put here towards the end. Right? Put somewhere at the middle. Right? So 你呢度得. Only has or only have. Okay. So 你呢度. So instead of saying you blah 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 and then the place, you say your place. Right? 你呢度 your place. Right? Your place here. Right? Your place here. 你呢度. You should have said something like 你嘅呢度, but then again we omit 嘅. Okay. 你呢度得. Only have. Okay. Only has. Okay. So 你呢度 this place of yours only has 3, 3. And then 個 is the quantifying unit. 人, a person. 渣, wow, you only have 3 people. I mean, that's not enough. So you say 你呢度得3個人. Sorry, 渣. Right? 你呢度得3個人渣. Right? So it's really deficient. 你呢度得3個人渣. And then we can also have 渣 together with 瓜. Okay? We say 隻瓜. Okay? So 隻瓜 is a questioning of something that is merely due to some other things. Okay? So for example, we have 2 people conversing with each other. So we have person A who says it is only because his mom doesn't allow him to go. Well, in other words, A is trying to explain why the other person is not going. Well, it's because of his mother. But then B is doubting. Right? So B is casting some doubt on A's statement. So B would say something like, it is only because he has no gut. It's not because of his mom. It's because he has no gut. So in Cantonese, how do you say it? You say, 佢阿媽唔俾. So actually,佢阿媽唔俾佢去渣. That's 佢 not 我嘅. 佢阿媽 his mother. 阿媽 is mother. 佢 is his. Right? 佢阿媽唔俾, not allow. 俾 is allow, or sometimes 俾 is give. Okay? So in other words, it's giving the right. Here it means giving the right, 俾 or allowing. So 佢阿媽唔俾佢去咋. It's because of his mom. 佢去 is go. 咋. Right? So it's only because of that. But then you can say something like 佢冇膽直啩. It's because of having no gut. 冇膽 gut. Right? 膽 is gut. 冇膽 no gut. 直啩 is a questioning. Right? And in any case, I'm running out of time, so please visit my website www.freehongkong.net. I'll see you next time. Bye.